It's gonna be sweet. Who wants to see some cake?
That's awesome, and just a shameless plug. Great job by the team on that. That video was shot by our own Ingram Micro Marketing Agency as well. We were really excited to go ahead and partner up with Dan and his whole team and Buddy in his organization. It was a great experience. So, to that point, I'm going to go ahead and get the show on the road and to share the story of how we go from the back room to main stage with the Cake Boss. I'm going to invite up to the stage Dan Howery, who's the president and CEO of Exigent Technologies and a Big Apple chapter member. Hey, Dan.
Thank you. So this really started as an improbable idea that was sort of thrown across the table at one point. The story goes that about a year ago, one of our sales reps, who is a relentless cold caller, decided to put in his crosshairs his favorite reality TV show star, Buddy Velociter, the Cake Boss. And after several attempts, and a little social engineering, Rob would end up getting an appointment at the famous Lackawanna Cake Factory in Jersey City. And I remember distinctly when we went on the appointment, there was definitely some nervous excitement. And we walked in and we met with Leo Minervini, who is Buddy's IT chief, and he's here today. And Leo said, thank you for coming. We need you, and thank you for your persistence. And I know that that must have felt great for Rob, my colleague, to affirm that his hard work had paid off in getting the appointment, and it certainly put me at ease as well. I remember that Leo talked about, the fact that there was an incumbent vendor in place, but he didn't feel that that vendor had his big picture goals and needs in mind. So clearly that was our cue to steer away from trying to sell boxes and talk about speeds and feeds, but rather talk about what Leo called, technology as a business enabler and a customer service enhancer. And so after a long consultative sales process, we went back and forth with various proposals for various products and services and solutions, and we ended up winning the deal. And it was quite a distinction and a thrill because, Carlos Bakery is this legendary institution, right? And so we would earn this distinction of taking this bakery from really old school to cutting edge high tech. And so I was really proud of my team, and actually, I was out in Vegas when we were pulling the whole thing together at the last invitation. And we use social media a lot at Exigent, and Buddy also employs a lot of social media with over 500,000 followers on his Twitter and Facebook. And so we were tweeting and Facebooking about the win, and John Fago learned about the opportunity and the win through the social media channels. And so, in passing, John said, hey, congratulations, and, what can we do for you? Do you have any challenges with this? And I said, well, we're in pretty good shape. I said, marketing's always a challenge, and with a high-profile win like this, maybe there's a way that this thing has some legs, and maybe we could kind of amplify the success of this. And so we sat down, and John had brought in Dennis Krupe, Ingram Micro's creative director, and we just had this, off-the-wall conversation about what the capabilities were. And Dennis proceeded to tell me about, what exactly they could do. And that was everything from public relations to copywriting to full-fledged video editing and production. And when I heard about that, and I thought that I could get all this under one roof, with the MSP and VAR experience to boot, I said, that's for me. That's what I want. And so I remember before leaving that impromptu meeting, I just said, wouldn't it be something if at the next invitation we actually had the Cake Boss on stage talking about this win and all that. And it was kind of, again, an improbable, flung across the table kind of thought. And here we are today. So I think it's a great example of this ecosystem that we call VTN. And in fact, speaking of the VTN ecosystem, we actually partnered up with Deepak Vedani from Sys Integrators to consult with us on our SAM design. And so I think it's a great story, an interesting story, and I'm really happy to tell it. Before I go and introduce the keynote, I want to thank John Fago for his foresight, and everyone at Ingram Micro Creative Services. Fantastic, wildly talented organization, especially Dina McMillan, Julie Zimmerman, and of course, under the leadership of Dennis Kruby. So speaking of stars and aligning, I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cake Boss, Buddy Blasio.